Hey guys, Asher and Rachel Legends, welcome to the video. Send us some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you need it out there. I saw the Minecraft movie with the kiddo. I actually really liked it, really enjoyed the Minecraft movie, really nice surprise. What else is going on? Seasonal allergies? Yeah, any allergy fans out there? Clarendon D. Anyway, today, I got nothing for you. Today, clearly, we're gonna rank, we're not even gonna rank. I'm just gonna go through every faction, and I'm gonna give you my choices for the most no-brainer max to 6 stars champion that you could ever want to pull in every single faction of the best game in the history of all games, Raid Shadow Legends.
EA Sports.
It's only a game.
So that's what we're gonna do today. Kind of a haphazard intro there, but we made it through. We got through it together, guys.
Hey, look at us. Look at us. Huh? Who would have thought?
All right, so let's start with the old Banner Lords here. Who is here mid-2025, get into the warm season here. Who do I want to go to the beach with out of all of the Banner Lords? The Red Lady. The Red Lady. No, I'm just joking. The best of the best here is not even, I shouldn't say it's not even close, because the weird thing is I actually probably have used the Red Lady maybe more than any other champion. The Red Lady can solo Bommel, who is the most difficult, unless you have like a crazy ally attack Nishak team, most difficult Doom Tower boss out there. So Lady Annabelle is the best solo champion in the game, I think. Maybe there's a mythical that can do it better, but the most accessible solo champion with this passive. So she deserves a big honorable mention, but I don't think she's necessarily like a must max no matter what. I think it's gonna be it's gonna come down to two, Stag Knight or Ursula, right? And it depends on what you need, right? Stag Knight's got that AoE decreased defense and the weaken, and Ursula has the tremendous increased defense and strengthen on a 3-turn duration, with the revive there as well. It's weird because, you know, if you have a lot of debuffers, you go with Ursula. If you have a lot of revivers, you go with Stag Knight. Either way, I think the no-brainer here is actually Stag Knight. I think that Stag Knight is going to be your guy. Even though Ursula is a void, I think that Stag Knight is the most no-brainer max out of any Bannerlord epic out there. He looks so cool. He's super fast. He's super tanky. He's just amazing. Decreased speed, simple kit, but such a beautiful, effective kit that will really change your account to have this in one champion. I like his little lead the pack passive as well. Mass Fearmonger, this is not the video for you, bro. This is not your video. He's one of the worst. So Stag Knight gets our first choice. High Elf time. Who is the one no-brainer you're maxing out no matter what? I think it's actually, as much as I really, really, really love Skaramis. I think he's so incredibly good. I think Neldor is very good. There's a lot of honorables here, but I still think it's actually Royal Guard. I mean, enemy max HP champions in this game are, you know, they're not super accessible, right? We get Marius. There's like obviously a lot of good ones out there, the Akrasias, the Newts and whatnot, but man, Royal Guard and Husk are still the best epics out there in terms of enemy max HP, and Royal Guard has the best enemy max HP move out of any epic out there in the game. So I like this takedown move, and you can use him in areas like Fire Knight with an insane control on his A3. Each hit plays a decreased speed on a quad hitter, great against bosses, and each hit has a 75% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 25%. That could be close to or possibly full turn meter depletion off this A3 ability. It's an insanely good control ability. He also brings an increased defense at a very high 65% land rate on his A1. Little slow, 93 speed, little squishy, 771, 15K, but still gets the job done. I still think he's the most no-brainer max out in High Elves. So we have Stag Knight and Royal Guard. Man, probably the same two I chose in this video back in 2021.
Don't know nothing new to tell you.
Sacred Order time, the most no-brainer max out. This is a weird one too, because I mean, we've talked about this before on the channel, right? This is the power square, right? There's no, I mean, they're gonna add another void and it's gonna screw up the power square. But these are four of the best epics in the game here, in the Sacred Order. Phenax, Deke, Inquisitor, and Godseeker, right? So it's very, very tough here to rank them. I personally like Phenax the most, because I love his A1, but he's a bit more niche with the block revive. I think Deke is the answer here. He's the most well-rounded epic in an absolute stacked faction full of amazing epics, because he's got the AoE decreased defense like Stag Knight, minus the decreased attack, but he has the extra turn, right? If you want to know anything about Raid Shadow Legends, know that any character, any champion that has an extra turn move is inherently really, really freaking good. It allows you to get back to their other moves even faster, thus really keeping that uptime of the debuffs or the buffs, whatever the champion brings, closer to 100%, meaning the decreased defense will be on all enemies almost all the time when he's on your team. Now, in addition to that, we have the turn meter fill, we have the turn meter decrease on enemies, great control in the speed aura with a leech on the A1. Just an amazing. I'm getting choked up, Deke. I'm getting choked up. He's one of the best champions out there. He really is one of the best epics in the game.
Be careful not to choke on your aspirations.
Shout out to Cardinal, shout out to Mordecai. There's a lot of very, very, very good Sacred Order epics, as I mentioned. If I had to choose a second, I'd probably go Godseeker, even though, you know, we all have our favorites. Depends on what you need. But today we're talking about the best of the best, a.k.a. I'm talking about everybody, as you guys can see, because I can't help myself. Barbarian time. All right, best of the best. Let's not overthink this, Ash. Let's not overthink this. It is Fat Man. Yeah, Fat Man's a no-brainer. He's the best ally attacker out of every epic in the game, and it's not even close. Not only does he have a very nice ally attack on a 4-turn cooldown, all allies joining except himself, but he also brings a burn and 2 poisons. Having a burn from an epic to begin with is fairly rare in this game. It's shocking how few burners there are out of all the epics. Hundreds and hundreds of champions. There's only a handful of burners. So Fat Man being the best ally attacker and a burner and the poisons with the decreased defense, he's amazing. Ally attack is one of the strongest moves you can have in this game, and Fat Man has it and then some. So there we go. I didn't even give any honorable mentions. I just went right to Fat Man.
I'm so proud of you.
Ogryn Tribe. Ogryn. Oh, man. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. But yes, it's Ugo, not close, right? Ugo, to me, is a top 5 epic inside the entire game of Raid Shadow Legends. I don't know why, but some viewers, not you, you're one of the smart ones, the other viewers have been throwing some shade at Ugo lately. I don't know why, but Ugo is amazing. Because I always talk up Ugo as one of, if not the best epics in the game. I think I power rank her number 3. I'll mention number 1 and 2 as we go through as well. But we get a cleanse, we get a great heal, 20% of this champion's max HP. Oh, I love that move. I love that move with the cleanse. It's a great move. She has the fail-safe revive that, you know, is like a solar eclipse when it happens. I had this video, I think it was building a random team video like a couple episodes ago. In case you want, I'll link the entire catalog of the series for you guys to watch for 10 hours after this video. But I had Ugo, and I think I had 2 Ugo revivals. It's like a solar eclipse. You get your glasses out, and you just get super freaking excited. And Ugo revive! Ugo! It's an Ugo revive! Take out your glasses, boys and girls. Get ready, don't stare directly at it. But an Ugo revive just happened before your very own eyes. All right, she also has a decreased defense and a block buffs. Amazing, specifically for Hydra, but against waves anywhere. Those annoying Valkyries and all the other buffers out there in the game. She also has a leech on her A1. She's just so incredibly powerful. Lizardmen, there's not many. They refuse to add more Lizardmen epics. That's it. They cut off. I think maybe Slixus was the last dude, and they were like, that's enough. That's enough, Lizardmen.
Anybody need sunblock? Got SPF 30.
Oh, you know what? You're not going.
Who are we going to give it to here? Who are we going to give it to? In contention, obviously I didn't prepare for this video, as you can tell. But I think I built every single epic in the game at this point. So I think I have a pretty decent, halfway decent, mediocre knowledge base. Who are we gonna give it to? I like Skathix. I like Broadmaw. I kind of like Jizzo, but he's not in contention. I like Aox. I like Basilisk. I like Venomage and Jareg. But I'm going to give it to Venomage. I think Venomage is probably the consensus choice as well. She's a very, very unique and a very powerful epic champion. I use her. You know, I don't use that many epics on my account nowadays. I'm 100% free to play, but
a load of crap.
I'm not really. But as an endgame player who's been playing the game for a long time and spent a lot of money, frankly, in this game, Venomage is still an epic that I use probably more than almost every other epic in the game. That's saying something, right? Enemies under heal reduction inflict 15% less damage. That's amazing. It's like a weak version of Strengthen basically all the time because she does have a heal reduction for 3 turns. on a 3-turn duration, right? She's also placing poisons on that move. She also has a decrease defense, decrease attack, single target, and she has the poison activation on the A1 with destroy max HP. I mean, this is a really good kit. Really good kit. Such a unique kit as well. Venomage, not close. Not close. Skinwalker time. Ooh, now this is a tough one. This is a tough one. Because there's no, like, in my opinion, there's no obvious choice, but there's a few really good champions here, right? It's going to come down for me between Basher's really cool. He's kind of niche. I even like Both. Is it Both or Bovos that I like? I kind of get those two guys confused. I'm not going to lie to you guys. But either way, I like Taurus is one of the best poisoners out of every epic in the game. He deserves a mention. For me, it becomes between Akemptum and Frenzy the Cackler. I think that Frenzy is amazing. I think she's one of the most underrated epics in the entire game. She's got Provoke, she's got her own increased defense, burn, and burn activation. We talked about how special burn is. She's one of my favorite burners. She's certainly a top 3 burner with Skrank and with Mordecai out of every epic in the game, in my opinion. But I'm still going to give it to Akemptum. Akemptum just shocks me. Whenever I use this fella, this little rat.
It's a cat, donkey.
He actually looks really cool to me. He always shocks me at his damage output. But it's not just the damage. He's got 2 triple hitters in his kit. Triple hit on the A1, triple AoE hit on a 3-turn cooldown on the A2, right? He's one of, if not the best Hex appliers in the game. And the more they keep buffing Hex, hasn't been recent, but they buffed it a couple times in the past, the better every Hex champion gets as well. But he has this Hex blood where he's inflicting damage from poison debuffs to enemies under Hex. Whenever their allies receive damage from a poison, that can just be a chain poison reaction, result in tremendous damage. And he's just got that Giant Slayer potential and all the debuffs spread and just a lot of damage. Really cool champion, speed in all battles. I'm gonna give it to Akemptum, even though it's very close with Frenzy. I like them both. I feel like those are the right choices. Okay, Orc time. Orc. In case you missed it, I had a video talking about the worst faction in all of Raid Shadow Legends, and you're looking at it. But the crazy thing is they actually have 2 insanely good epics, right? Overall, faction is the worst in the game, I think, right? But there's 2, and it's so hard to choose. There's Seer and Tagore. Now, Seer has Karma Burn, which is one of the best nukes in the entire game. Moreover, she saves so much time for so many players everywhere in the game. I think she's a top 5 epic in the game. But here's the problem. I am the card-carrying president of the Tagore fan club. So I gotta give it to my guy. I know this sounds crazy to you guys, but the truth is nowadays, there's a lot of nukers out there, right? None as good as Seer. Not very few. Like, there's some mythicals who can outdamage Seer now, like a Siegfried and whatnot. But there's other options for damage, even though none like Seer, to be fair. But Tagore, I think, is the best epic reviver in the game. And he doesn't have the best epic revive in the game. That would go to Ursula the Mourner, who we spoke about in Bannerlords. But he's the best epic reviver, and I really don't think it's close. So he's going to get the award here, the Ash Award for best epic in the Orc faction that everybody is just clamoring for. It's like the Grammys and the Emmys and the Ash Award for best Orc faction reviver epic champion.
Who are you exactly?
Increased speed. AoE, can deal damage and heals based on his max HP. This is like a legendary ability right here. It really is. He can deal damage. 1145 with a base attack. Normally we don't care about damage from our revivers, but it's nice because if you're already staying alive, why not transition some survivability away from Tagore for a little bit of attack and get some damage from this dude as well on an AoE. He surprised the heck out of me with the damage he can put out. An AoE, increased speed, and a heal based on his max HP, all on a 3-turn cooldown. He's got to increase defense 2 turns, ally with the lowest current HP on the magic stick. I like that. I really like 50 Cent should make a The Magic Stick remakes for Tagore. Plarium has the money. You can pay 50 for it. Make it happen. Rise and Fight. It's an AoE revive. It's an AoE revive. What do you want from me? With a shield for some survivability. Again, it's not the best revive, 30% HP, but it is an AoE revive nonetheless. And Aid the Feeble. This is what puts him over the top here. Decrease damage received by all allies with less than 50% HP by 10%. Then he's helping him out with increased defense as well. He's got HP in all battles on the aura. Yeah, Tagore, you're the best. You're the man. You're the man. Demon Spawn time. All right, who we got here? Demon Spawn. We have one of my favorite nukers in Magnar. We have one of the best controls in Allure. And then we have some other champions. Honestly, some of them good, some of them all right. But I think it does come down to those two now that I look at the entire roster. And you know what? I love Allure. Her A1 is incredible, that Psychic Whip. But I'm actually going to give it to good old Magnar. Who doesn't love a good nuker, right? And we haven't talked about a ton of nukers on the list. I'm going to give it to Magnar because Magnar is one of the best epic nukers in the game. Not necessarily the hardest hitting, but he's the tankiest hardest hitting by far and away. Every other epic nuker is pretty much a glass cannon, but Magnar can take a freaking punch. He's 21k base HP. He just freaking hits so hard, right? He hits so hard. He's got a really hard-hitting Fan the Flames. It is conditional, but a debuff spread based on burns. His whole kit is based on burns, and he doesn't have a burn in his kit, which is a little weird. But I'm going to give it to Magnar. I think that Magnar is just such an amazing damage dealer, even though if you're looking for support, obviously you'd go elsewhere. Control, Allure, support, I don't know, maybe you'd go with Achak the Wender in there. All right, Undead Horde. I know in my mind already who I'm going to give it to, and I know I'm going to be snubbing a lot of champions here. I love Mausoleum Mage. I think that Seeker is the best turn meter booster inside the game. One of the best. He's certainly the most unique. 30% turn meter boost with an extra turn allows it to be a 2-turn cooldown. No other champion can do that. But, you know, Seeker is still amazing, but maybe a little bit of a fallen off in terms of his use rates because so many players, when Wixwell was available, I know it's been a while, but they shifted to Wixwell teams versus all the Bat Eater teams. Maybe you're one of those players. Maybe you're not. Let me know in the comments below if you still use Seeker and Clan Boss, but that was like his #1 claim to fame, and now I feel like it's less essential on some accounts. Everything depends. I'm going to give it to Vogoth. I'll cut the preamble, or I won't really cut the preamble, but I'll just get to the damn point, Ash. It's Vogoth, man. Vogoth is so good. He's just one of my favorite epics out there in the game. Top 10 epic in the game, in my opinion. Triple hitter on his A1. So right out the gate, he's like got a really good A. Let's read this A1 because I feel like people gloss over it. Triple hitter. Each hit has a 40% chance of increasing the duration of a random debuff on the target by 1 turn. I mean, that's a really nice move, considering it's not even the highlight of his kit. On the A2, Wave of Revulsion, 3-turn cooldown. It's an AoE 75% provoke on all enemies. Also a 75% decrease attack on targets who receive the provoke. So what a good control ability here, all on a 3-turn cooldown. Damage mitigation and control, all on a 3-turn cooldown on an AoE. And that's still not the best part of his kit. Whenever this champion is attacked, heals all allies by 50% of the damage received. It makes him one of the best healers in the game. Festering Dynamo. Man, all he's got to do is sit there and just take damage. Doesn't even need to take a turn, which is beautiful because he is a little slow at 89 speed. And then we're not done yet. Eerie Presence, when attack plays a leech on the attacker for 2 turns. If they're under provoke, check this out. If they're under the provoke on his A2, also has a 100% chance of increasing the cooldown of a random skill by 2 turns, occurs once per attack with no cooldown. So now he's a lockout champion. He's a lockout, a leecher, a healer, a triple hitter, a debuff extender, a damage mitigator. It's Vogoth, baby. If you're not a believer in Vogoth, after that rah-rah speech, then golly, I don't know what to do with you. Dark Elhain, I love. Husk, I love. I could sit here and give... I even like Khafru. No one likes this dude. I do. I like this guy. I like Ostrox Bagash. I like this guy, right? Actually, to be honest, Undead Horde is stacked. It's stacked. All right. Catacomb Counselor. quick shout out. Another great ally attacker for an epic. Dark Elf time. All right, we got my second favorite epic nuker, Dirindil, but he's not going to be the choice. Got Ryan, a competent reviver. We've got Madame Ceres and Sylar, two amazing epics. Oof, another stacked faction, guys. Loria, decent freeze. She's not going to be it, though. Caden, a double reviver. He's not going to be it. Krakarth, the worst champion you get from Doom Tower secret rooms. Nope. It's between Dark Kayle for me and Madame Ceres. Who would you guys go with, Dark Kayle or Madame Ceres? Here's the thing. Both these champions are amazing, and I don't really use either of them that much anymore, and it does depend on where you're at in terms of what you're looking for. Madame Ceres is clearly the pick for PvP, and then Kayle is clearly the pick, I think, for PvE. I'm going to give it to Dark Kayle. Dark Kayle still has the poison and the burn activation on his A1. It's great to have an activator on A1. We talked about this with a Venomage, but activating the burn as well on a triple hitter is very good. In AoE, decrease attack, that's going to be 100% when booked. Critical hits are going to increase the duration of all debuffs by 1, and then he's got 3 poisons and a poison sensitivity on a 3-turn cooldown, and mitigate critical hits on targets under poison, which is going to be fantastic for survivability in most areas of the game. I just think he's a great champion who's actually farmable in Doom Tower. So we'll give it to Dark Kayle. Who would you give it to in Dark Elves? I'll be real. Out of all the factions, even Sacred Order, I think that was the most challenging on who to pick there. Knights Revenant, my favorite faction in the game. They're stacked as well. I love good old Frank. I mean, he's one of my intros. I don't use that intro too often anymore, but I've been trying to get away from intros altogether, but I love giving you guys a little taste of different music. Music is my passion in life. No one cares, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Music is like my real passion. Shockingly, it's not Raid Shadow Legend. So I wish copyright system wasn't the way it was, because that would give you guys so much good music, man. I'm very eclectic in my taste as well, from classical to hip-hop and everything in between. Anyway, there we go. Doom Priest is great. I mean, there's a lot of them. I'm not going to name them all here. Whisper's probably the best epic nuker in the game. It's hard not to go Whisper here, but I am not going to go Whisper here. I'm going to go Rector Droth. Rector Droth is clearly, I like revivers with Tagore and Rector Droth over maybe some of the more obvious choices. Whisper's so good. I mean, she can outdamage most legendaries, even a lot of mythical champions. So she deserves a huge honorable mention. Here we go. Whisper, you're amazing. We love you. We love the steampunk vibe as well. But Rector's probably one of the most unique epics in the game. She's an incredible healer with this passive. Whenever an ally under Veil or Perfect Veil gets a turn, heals them by 10% of their max HP. She's got a decrease attack on the A1, and she's a reviver on a 4-turn cooldown. A great revive, 60% turn meter, 60% HP with a Perfect Veil for 3 turns. That's great survivability and great turn meter, especially from an epic. But really, this Necro mutation is such an insane ability. She's really one of the best healers out there in the game. With that passive and this ability, heals all allies by 20% of this champion's max HP. But then she has a Perfect Veil for 2 turns on all allies with full HP, a continuous heal if they don't. This makes her the best Veil or Perfect Veil epic in the game by a long shot. Now, Veil and Perfect Veil in this game, they're a 4-turn cooldown when they're on an AoE. That's what Duchess has. That's what Glaciad has as well, right? That's what, Tatura Rhymehide has. So this is standard to be on a 4-turn cooldown. But because she has a heal that's passive and a revive that's only used when we need it, building Rector Droth in a reflex set or impulse sets, or reflex and impulse, will get you this Perfect Veil and more heals so often that it really makes her one of the best Veilers in the game. And Veil, Perfect Veil is 15% damage mitigation on AoE attacks, and they can't be targeted with single target attacks, and all that healing, and she's fast. She's 109 base speed as well. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Can you tell? Of Rector Droth. All right, Dwarf time. We have Grizzled Jarl, Cornelia, Rearguard. Oh, come on, man. All right. I think the Geomancer is the best epic in the game still to this day. So I'm going to stop naming everybody, and I'll just get to the point here. Geomancer. Got that AoE? Sure. Decreased accuracy is not the best debuff in the game. I'm not a huge fan of it. but it's hard to find too, especially on an AoE. So just having that randomly on his AoE, on an AoE, on his A1 is nice at a 40 or 45% clip, depending on if he's booked in the Sniper Mastery. A great A2 where you're basically stealing all their buffs if they're under burn or just removing them if they're not. We're also, though, reducing the cooldown of Quicksand Grasp by 2 turns if the target's killed while under a burn placed by this champion. Okay, let's be real, that's not triggering that often. But the Quicksand Grasp fully depletes the target's turn meter after we removed all their buffs, or stole them, by the way. Stealing buffs or removing buffs and removing their turn meter, both on a 3-turn cooldown, is good in its own right. But he's got a 3-turn weakened big version and a 3-turn burn. And then that synergizes beautifully with Stoneguard, where it reflects the damage that he takes from targets under burn, or all allies, I should say. My bad. Back to the attacker. What does this mean? It means he's one of the best weakened champions, debuffers. He's got a lot of manipulation. He's bringing a lot to the table, but he is the best boss killer in the game. He's still in the conversation, even with, 20 mythicals now in the game? He's still better than most legendaries, if not all legendaries, most mythicals, if not all mythicals, at killing bosses. That's Geo. He's the #1 epic still in the game. You know they're going to nerf Geo? And then they kind of got a little taste of the community sentiment, like AKA people would delete the game. And they decided against it. That was a good non-nerf. Good call on Plarium's part. That was about 2 years ago, but they really were. I had a chat with an employee, a Plarium employee, about that. And I was like, I don't know if you guys want, I'm not taking credit. I'm sure they realize on their own, but I'm like, I don't know if you guys want to do that, unless you want to, see half your player base leave the damn game. Shadowkin! Who we got here? We got Tayo, Genbo. Wait, I feel like there's an obvious one here. Taragi's amazing, right? Man, I'll be real with you guys. There's really not an obvious choice. The Shadowkin legendaries are so stacked, and so are their mythicals, to be fair. But their epics, they're solid, but not out of this world, at least in my opinion. I'm going to shock the world, though. I'm not going to go Taragi the Frog, even though he's a very good champion. There's, Genbo is very good. Taya's a good combustor as well. There's some interesting champions here. Kinagashi, the only reviver in the damn... Sashi has a conditional revive, but the only straight-up reviver in the epic category here. But I'm going to give it to Hatatsu. Hatatsu is such an underrated epic support champion. He's technically defense-based, but he brings so much to the table in a simple but just wonderful kit. He has a leech on his A1. He has an AoE decrease attack on his A2. That's going to be a, 80% chance? Yes. 85% with Sniper, not bad. He's defense-based, so he's nice and tanky. And then he brings an increased defense, big version, and a continuous heal on all allies on a 3-turn cooldown. And he's removing a random debuff from himself at the start of each turn, but he's starting with the CC debuffs, which is beautiful. The only bummer here is it's a 3-turn cooldown. It'd be kind of cool if it was 2 or 1, but it is what it is. It's still very nice to have. And then he has defense in all battles by 25%. What do you guys think? Would you give it to Hatatsu or Taragi? Taragi has a big provoke on an AoE. It is a 50%. He has a shield, ally protection on a 3-turn cooldown. He's got a decreased attack on his A1 and poisons when he's attacked. Taragi's definitely better. I guess it depends on what you need, right? For Demon Lord or clan bosses. But I think Hatatsu is just generally brings a lot to the table, Sylvan Watchers. We're already at the grand finale. I feel like we just started the video. Damn.
It's a miracle.
Sylvan Watchers, you guys know that I made the Orc video, the worst faction, and I'll let you guess what the best faction was, in my opinion, at least in the game. There's some really good freaking epics here. Listen, I like Cryoden, I like Duden, I like Dathi. Pan is, I said Darendil was my second favorite nuker. Pan is my favorite epic nuker in the game. I'm not saying he's the best, he's just my fave. Mycelia Priest Ornn is very good. Ruella is very good. Naya is very good. And even Dirty Diana is very good. Even Ayala is very underrated. She has the instant turn. She's got the increased accuracy. She's got the block debuffs and a heal. Solid champion. 108 base speed too. Duden doesn't get enough love. for bringing the taunt with the counterattack, with the cleanse off the counterattacks on his A1 with a nice shield on his A2 and the buff extension. I think that 99% of you guys would choose Mistrider Dathi, and you probably wouldn't be wrong. But I got to be real with you guys. I love Mistrider Dathi. Great champion. A lot of extra turn potential. Just insane. Good damage. Extra turns all over the place. Debuffs. He's great. But I'm actually going to give it to Cryoden the Blue. I think this guy's really freaking good. He's the best Epic Freeze champion by far, in my opinion, in the game, right? With all apologies to Luria, Neldor, he's so good with the freeze. So Fire Knight hard, he's amazing. Fire Knight normal, he's amazing, right? He's got a triple hitter. Each hit, 35% chance of placing a freeze on his A1. But this A2, this AoE freeze, 65% on each hit on an AoE. That's the most dependable AoE freeze you can find from an Epic, and it's on a 3-turn cooldown with the triple hitter on the A1. Blessing of the Blue is what kind of puts him over the top for me as one of the most underrated Epics out there. An increased speed with the turn meter fill of 15% chance. Sure, it's the same as Apothecary's boon for speed A3, but we actually don't have a ton of 3-turn cooldown increased speed with turn meter filled champions out there. Epics, rares, you name it. And Cryoden has that on top of being the best controller out there, in my opinion. Fills his champion's turn meter by 5% for each freeze debuff placed by this champion. I don't think he's quite as good maybe in the end game as Mistrider or Duden, because frankly, I use Mistrider and Duden, excuse me, a little bit more often on my account. But that is only because the Centranos and Cursed Cities waves that I use these guys on don't allow me to use Cryoden the Blue. Otherwise, I'd be using them, right? So it's more, tested. It's more an artifact of the stages that I'm encountering versus the power of the individual champion. So listen, this is a tough one, but I think I'd go Cryoden, and then Dathi, and then Duden, and then Pan and Dirty Diane. I don't know. This is the toughest. This is the toughest faction, and it's also an appropriate area because I can feel myself rambling on here. To end the video, thank you so much for watching, guys. Let me know where you agree. Let me know where you disagree in the comments below. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.